because the number one thing you do if someone grabs you, you pee on yourself.
No way. Did they teach you that?
Yeah.
What?
That's the lesson?
Where did you take this lesson?
At the bank.
Welcome to the Asian Not Asian podcast. My name is Mike Nguyen, and I'm with my host,
Jenny Arimoto.
Woo! Wow!
Woo!
How do you feel?
I'm so nervous.
You're nervous? Why?
Because I'm filling in big shoes.
You are.
And also my energy is very different from Fumi's, so
yes.
I'm like, will the folks even be okay with this?
They will not be.
Yeah, I know.
But no, they will
Outrage.
be. Of course they will be. They will be. Fumi's shoes are, I would say, average size.
Okay.
They're probably like an 8.5. He's a little guy. And but he's a good dude. Welcome to the Asian Not Asian podcast. We usually tell people, if you're listening on your phones, go ahead and hit subscribe, hit, whatever thing you're listening on. This might be on YouTube as well if you're on YouTube. So, leave a comment and hit like and hit subscribe for there and leave us a review, all that good stuff. The main thing, though, is tell your friends. If you like what you're hearing, text it to them. That would be great. That's the way we grow. It's all word of mouth is the big thing. We're all supposed to do Patreon, but we don't have Patreon right now. We do have Patreon, but we've gone through all of the Patreon subscribers. So we're just going to skip over that right now. And things are different, but not. Would you agree?
Yes.
Great.
Does that help?
Yes, it's perfect. I love it. I love the energy.
Yes-anding so hard.
Yes, you're yes-anding so hard. Before we get into it real quick, because we never really have talked about this, but like when I first asked you to do the podcast, what did you think?
I'm not a stand-up comedian, and so I always think that
That's a good thing. Yep.
I think so. No, I just feel like in this format, sometimes I'm like, I don't know if this is my strength at just talking.
Yeah.
Because I'm an improviser and sketch writing is more my jam. And I think my internet presence is kind of just like me being characters and never being authentic.
Oh.
And so I was like, oh, this is going to be an interesting little journey for me to have to just be myself.
Whoa.
On a microphone. And so those were literally the thoughts that went through my head. And then second was the energy of the show is like very straight male dude vibes.
That's why we're not that successful. Yeah.
Not in a bad way, but I was
no, it's a bad thing.
But I'm like, that's so not my vibe. So I was like,
Okay,
it's definitely gonna shift.
Can I tell you that the overall plan for Asian Not Asian is Fumi left, right? He's left he's left physically. His spirit is still here, but he's left, and then we bring you on.
Yeah.
And then next I leave.
Exactly.
And then another woman comes on.
Yes.
And
it's
the
a coup.
world is made whole
Yes.
at that point.
Finally.
Because who needs to see straight men on the radio? I just called
Yeah.
the radio.
The
So
future
yeah,
is female.
I think it should just be female. I think that's great. But until that time, you know what? There is still some fun stuff we can do. We like to start off the podcast with just asking, what kind of Asian were you this week? What kind of Asian were you this week, Jenny?
I was a hermit Asian. Basically, Mike and I and Dylan Adler.
Yeah.
We discussed on a previous episode how we were planning an Asian prom, which is a party for like Asian creatives, mostly in the comedy space in New York, to get together and like have a prom themed party. When we talked about this, it was the height of Omicron. And so we literally had no idea if it was going to happen, like what was going to happen in the world. Well, it happened last weekend.
Yeah.
And Jenny got lit.
I know.
Like, I got lit. Like,
you were saying, too, at the beginning, we were like
I
setting
did.
up and
Yeah.
you were like, I'm going to be drinking tonight.
I did say that.
Like someone who had like a very cute fairy tale character. Like Grumpledore will be drinking tonight.
Yeah,
you know?
I was like a little fairy that's like, tonight I get lit. And that was me. And I followed up and I really did get lit.
How many drinks did you have?
I have no idea.
Really?
It really doesn't take very much for me. Like 3 drinks and I'm like screaming in your face in a fun way.
Yeah.
And I definitely exceeded 3. And if there's music on, it really escalates very quickly. And I probably get this way once to twice a year. My birthday and if there's a wedding.
Yeah.
And I kind of went in with that mentality. And so, boy, I had a lot of fun. It was so awesome to see everyone. But I was hungover for 48 hours.
Were you?
Oh, yeah. Like a very low grade hangover.
Yes.
Where it's not so bad, but then it's also like I can't really be functional in any way.
lying there.
Yeah. And so I was kind of out for the count. And then I was also, I think I expended like 200% of my social energy.
Yeah.
And so this whole week I was just like quietly in my apartment by myself, like binge watching things or reading.
Yeah.
That was,
Just
like, it.
gestating.
Yeah,
you were just,
exactly. Like
in the
journaling
corner.
a lot and just like being very like insightful, like internally, you know, just like
Okay.
thinking about my brain.
Oh.
So yeah, it was a really fun start to the week, and then also just the
Horrible,
lowest key.
low.
Yeah.
I
kind of
feel
follow-up.
that you were really ready to get party too because you got the Zantac out.
No,
Did you?
it was the Pepsi AC.
Oh, Pepsi AC. You had a Pepsi AC.
Well, yeah, we're about to get a first drink, like right 8 p.m. Party's gonna start. But Mike's like, let's go get a drink, and I was like, let me get my Pepsi AC.
That
I
is-
Asian club.
I just love it. I love like, you know, like if this was Euphoria, they'd be like, we're doing Molly.
Yeah.
You know, we're gonna do whatever. Like
Yeah.
we're gonna do ketamine, and then like at the Asian prom, we're like, ooh, Pepsi AC.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. I'm like, before that, let me just prep my body because I'm allergic to everything.
I love it. I'm just gonna be you know, the same. You know, I don't think I must have talked about Asian prom before because it's been a minute. But I was my goal. I was a non-hungover Asian. That's always my goal.
Wow.
Because you know, you're a bit younger than I am.
Yeah.
But you haven't at a certain point. Your hangovers, when I think around, I would say for me around 33,
Yeah.
my hangovers weren't just physical; they were emotional. Like I'm serious. Like they get existential. It was like
Yeah.
there was a time where if I woke up and I was really hungover, I would go to my phone and I would just like apologize to everyone I saw. Like I would be like, I'm so sorry if I did anything stupid like yesterday. Blah blah
Wait.
blah. You're my best friend.
No,
And-
Mike, I had that.
did you?
When you texted, you said, Jenny, you really went out last night or something like that. I spiraled and I was like, did I do something so
Yeah,
embarrassing?
yeah.
And then every Asian person I've seen since then, I've apologized to. I don't even know for what,
Just
but I
to-
just
to
feel like I
apologize.
just need to get ahead
Just,
of
I'm so
whatever
sorry.
it is. Yeah.
No, I do. I feel of course nothing goes wrong, but I'm always like afraid that like
Totally.
something will be out and I'll just be like, I don't like your ankles or something, you know, I'll
Yeah.
just say something that I didn't mean, you know, I was trying to be funny or something like
Right.
that, right? And that's like the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
So that's like the hangover I'm trying to avoid, like crying. That's like that's, you know, like
Yeah.
hangover is headache, stomach, crying.
Yeah.
And I don't want to have any of those things.
Yeah.
So that was what I was, and I think I was pretty successful at it. This I don't know if this will make sense for people who weren't there, but like so Dylan, who's been on the show before and is going to become a superstar in a second, he did this crazy thing where he flew in for this prom.
Yes.
Flew in, drove directly to the prom,
Didn't have a shirt.
didn't have a shirt, right? Had to borrow a shirt,
Mm-hmm.
hung out until like 3 or 4. We all go out, and you know, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm taking off, and he's like, yeah, you know, I'm just gonna go back to the airport. He got he went back to the airport
Yes.
and flew. That is
Right back to LA.
that would kill
Oh,
anyone
yeah.
over 25. I feel.
Yes,
that
I
would just
agree.
kill you. Yeah.
I was fully asleep when all of that happened. I was out, drunk, sent home by Mike.
Get out of
Get
here.
outta
You're
here.
drunk. Get
Yeah.
out of here. It was amazing. Well, I want to ask our guest what kind of Asian she was. Our guest is great. And here are the different credits. Okay, I got for this person. A comic, a journalist. This person puts journalist in quotes, but I think journalist for sure. All right, current host of NPR's Everyone and Their Mom, and real life Gen Z person. Don't know if I've ever met one. For real. Okay, I always thought it was a myth. All right, give it up, everybody, for Emma Choi.
Hello. Hello. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks for coming on to the show.
Yay, I'm so happy to be here.
Thank you. I hope I used your right pronouns. Is that all right?
She, her. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I think this is. Thank you for coming on the show. Did you go to prom? Did you go to your prom?
I did go to prom. My high school had 2 proms. We had junior prom and senior prom.
Yep.
And I planned junior prom because I was student body, whatever.
Yep.
And I skipped the other prom. But
Okay.
that's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
That's like a power move,
Well,
I think.
I went to a pizza parlor instead and went to sleep by 10. So I had some power movement away.
Yeah.
yeah.
But
Yeah. Like, just being
I don't
asleep.
know.
Yeah.
Let's call it a power move for now.
I liked it. I like it a lot. I mean, this is great. Thank you for doing the show. We're gonna get into all the different things you do, and all the things and whatever,
Cool.
because you seem cool. But I want to ask first, what kind of Asian were you this week?
Thank you for asking. I'm gonna give an abstract answer. I was a real orange Asian this week.
Orange
Okay.
Asian.
Yeah, I've
Okay,
been
just a
drinking
color.
so much orange juice.
Orange juice.
I don't
okay.
know why. Because 2 weeks ago I had COVID, so I think
Oh,
that maybe.
shit.
Yeah, I know. Just like I got it at a really uncool time where it was like no longer cool.
Oh
to get
yeah,
COVID,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
And everyone's
Like everyone's had
I
it
know,
already.
and everyone's like out and like having fun. Like, where are you, Emma? And I'm like, I have COVID. And they're
Damn.
like, what? I know. But I've been drinking that orange juice. I've been buying
Th-
so many sumo oranges. At one point, I
Oh,
lost a sumo
so
orange in my
good.
bed.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah, yeah.
Is sumo oranges a thing?
What do you mean?
Yes.
They exist.
Well, because I went to Whole Foods because I got some money. All right.
Okay.
Okay.
I won the lottery
Brag.
and I went to Whole Foods and there were sumo oranges like
Mhm.
up front and they were real ugly and I was like, these got to be delicious because they're so horrible looking.
Yeah.
And then I bought one. I brought one home for my wife and she was like, this is
Romantic.
cool. And then this morning she was on Twitter and we got an ad for sumo oranges. And now you mentioned sumo oranges and I don't know what to make of it.
My friend, they're a thing. They've been a thing for years.
I was gonna say for years.
Yes.
I knew about them via a family influencer like 2-3 years ago.
Family
Yeah.
influencer.
I follow
micro family
I follow
influencer.
little.
All right.
I follow baby accounts. Okay. I wanted to say it in a cool way, but it's that's what it is.
Oh,
I thought it was like your aunt. who was
Yeah,
like
me
really
too. I was like-
influential
Oh,
in
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
family.
It was like, yeah,
my aunt,
cousin,
yeah,
cousin
my aunt
Susie.
Connie's a bit of a
Oh man, she's
influencer
always
in our
influencing
family.
the Yaramotos.
Sumo
yeah.
oranges are like my coworkers at NPR love them and my family. So I think it's like Asian families and like really liberal, successful people.
Yeah.
Right? White.
Ah,
Parentheses white.
yes.
Right.
Mhm,
No
mhm.
wonder I hadn't heard of it until I went to Whole Foods.
There you go.
Aha.
Yeah, it's a Whole Foods thing for sure.
Yeah, man. they
It's
don't-
delicious.
Yeah,
It's
no,
so
it was good. It
Yeah.
was good. It was very ugly and very expensive.
Mhm.
Yeah,
It's
they're
like
so
$3 a
expensive.
pop.
Yeah. Okay, so you had a lot of oranges
Yeah.
and you're feeling better. Did it
I'm
help?
feeling better.
Yeah, do the
I think
oranges
it did
help?
help.
I
You
feel
know,
this was like an
sometimes-
Asian. This is the Asian ivermectin. You know.
yeah.
It just-
Well, because my mom never let me have medicine when I was growing up, even though my dad's a doctor. I don't know.
What the fuck?
Oh.
It's
Oh,
complicated.
actually, no. This actually makes perfect sense. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like we would go to the doctor and the doctor would prescribe me antibiotics and we would walk out and I'm like, you're not going to get those, are you? And she's like, no, you're not going to take those. But
What?
so
Where
like,
else? Oh.
I don't know, but I'm fine. But she's not an
Okay.
anti-vaxxer, which is
Okay.
good. There's
Oh,
a
we
line. There's a
love
line
that.
that's drawn. But yeah, I think my body was like craving vitamin C.
Yeah, whatever.
And then I got a lot of it. But now I can't stop. I had 2 sumo oranges this morning.
Yes.
Wow.
It's ruining me financially.
Sumo or- How the hell are you doing? Oh
We'll
my
just say I'm not
God.
paying rent right now.
So just going up to your landlord. I'm so sorry. I'm addicted to sumo oranges.
Yeah.
Get out of here, you orange head. You know.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, welcome to the show.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for coming on. For people who don't know, you have so many fun things you do. But right now you are a host of an NPR show, and it's called Everyone and Their Mom. And you got this like through. I guess you were an intern first
Yeah.
for Wait Don't Tell Me.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's crazy. Okay, so first of all, how did you just get into this thing first? Just in general.
In general?
Yeah.
Well, I'm a comic, so
Yes.
that was happening. And then my year off from school, I was like, I'm bored and I need to
Mhm.
do something. So I applied to this internship and I got it.
That's awesome.
And yeah, I don't know how anyone gets an internship.
I don't know
because
how
it's
either.
crazy.
Same.
Yeah.
I know, right? And it was the first internship that I've actually liked because all my internships have been
Yeah.
like, make this spreadsheet. They're
Yeah.
like-
File this thing.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
Alphabetize.
but
yeah.
they actually like let me do stuff, which is crazy. But then I went a little too far, and then I I threatened to quit constantly, and I'm so replaceable. And then and it worked because they kept me for a year, and then I did these like wacky like Wednesday PowerPoints where I like negged on the creator of the show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I think like negging people like much older and more professional than
With,
you, like
what's his name?
Doug Berman,
Yes. Oh,
Peter Sagal.
yes, Peter Sagal.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's my height, so it's really easy to neg on him.
Oh shit!
I love that guy, but oh my god.
Little guy, short
Yeah.
king.
Yeah.
as they say.
Short
Short King,
King.
exactly.
Short King.
Yeah.
So you were doing like a lot of like you like revamped their social media and shit.
Yeah, because during my interview process, they're like, "Can you do social media?" And I'm like, "I'm 21,
Of
so
course you can.
You know,
Yeah.
I did it." And then I don't know, I just kind of like did the stuff that I wanted to see, and then they're like, "Whoa,
That's
And
amazing.
it worked out. So I
That's
don't know.
amazing.
Yeah.
I think
I
that's
love that.
great. what are these PowerPoints did you do? Like, were you like doing like, here's our budget report, but it has also like a neg in it, you know?
Exactly. Well, it was
Sick.
like part of the intern's job is that every week on Wait, Don't Tell Me, there's like a celebrity guest, right?
Yeah.
And then the intern's job is like to talk about the celebrity guest and give them facts.
Mm-hmm.
It was really boring, so I just made a PowerPoint and like through it was like became like mostly not about the guest. It was like me calling Doug Berman a nerd and making him say like really like classist things.
Oh my God,
like out of their
incredible.
mouths.
Yeah.
And like saying a lot of F words. But can I curse on this podcast?
Oh, fuck yeah, you can.
Wow. That's so good.
I literally was like, what other swear is there? I couldn't think of anyone else.
Yeah, yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Poopy head. Yeah.
Fuck yeah. So it was like that kind of stuff.
I
And
love that.
like it's like a 3-hour meeting, so people got like super bored. So
Yeah.
I think it
Yeah,
was
oh
nice
my
to
God.
like infuse
Break it
some
up.
Yeah.
energy. So
Neg your way to success.
seriously.
Yeah.
That's what white men do.
It's
It
true.
is.
It's a
Well,
lesson
yeah.
I need.
I think that's great. Me and Fumi, we were guest writers on Wait, Don't Tell Me.
No way.
Yeah, maybe this is before the pandemic, and this was like, because we know like a producer at NPR, and I can't remember what show she does, but she was real nice, and she kind of
Is her name Skylar
no, not Skylar,
Okay.
Jennifer.
Mills?
Yes,
Oh, she's on our show.
Yeah,
she's
yeah,
my
okay.
supervising producer for this
that's
show.
right. Okay, yes,
Yeah.
she is on. That
I
makes,
love
that
Mills.
makes sense.
Yeah.
She's great. We never understood why she was so supportive of us because we were like, I mean, she was so nice, and
Yeah.
she was like, hey, we're like looking for guest writers, and put your name in there, and like we want you to do this little stretch of like a couple weeks, and it was like the first like professional writing thing we did. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like Fumi and I. We had written, sketch and whatever the heck it is, and we're comics and stuff like that. But it was like the first thing, and it's like for a show I had heard of, and I was like, this is amazing. Because your first your first credit is always like Peacock Sevens, rendition of Gone with the Wind, non-problematic, and it was like, okay, whatever, writing
Yeah.
for this. So we were writing it, and it was really cool, and we got to talk to Peter Sagal. And Fumi didn't know a lot about the show because Fumi doesn't know a lot of things. But like, I had heard of it. I grew up listening to it, and I thought it was awesome that he was on like speakerphone, and it was so like like bizarre because you're used to him doing certain things, and instead he's just like asking us like, well, what do you think about this? I'm like, what the fuck,
Yeah.
But he also came to us with this thing where it was like, come with jokes that you think we want, but also odd jokes that you just want to hear. It's okay if it's like going to be totally different. And I'll be honest, it was hard for me to do that. I think because I was so that the voice of him, but also the voice of the show is so iconic.
Yeah.
That it was hard for me to like break out of that, and I was like, I don't want to say afraid, but I was like, you really, when you write jokes, you really want the person to be like, I like that joke, I'm going to use it.
Mm-hmm.
And they used a couple of my jokes, and I felt really good. But I feel like what you did was like, I'm going to fucking quit if you don't let me swear in this PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah.
I
I threatened to quit once because Peter Sagal wouldn't say bussy on air. And I explained to him what a bussy was.
Yeah.
And it was uncomfortable. But
That's
it's like
great.
that kind of stuff. I think the trick is that you kind of have to see. I just kind of saw Peter Sagal as like a kind of dopey uncle that I was like, Peter, just say it. Don't be a pussy. Just say it. He like did it. But it was really fun. Yeah, it was a great job.
I love it.
Yeah.
I
That's
love
a good like hill to die on too.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah.
great
Bussy
one.
Hill.
Yeah, so it was really fun.
I have to say, I'm going to out you a little bit, Jenny. Jenny
Uh-oh.
didn't know what the show was.
That's fine.
I'm so sorry.
That probably
Hey.
means you're cooler than us.
Yeah,
I listened to
really-
it this
yeah.
week.
You did listen to it this week.
To prepare
My show or that show?
both.
Oh, cool.
I do my homework.
Wait, don't tell me. Yeah.
Yeah, what'd you think?
First of all, just jumping right in, I was like, oh, this is the structure of the show. Whenever you like jump into any sort of like podcast,
Yeah.
they're like, this is how you like, they just do it. And you're like, okay. So I'm just kind of like following and I'm like getting into it. And like, okay, there's famous people on the show. Like I was like listening to the Casey Musgraves one. I love Casey
Oh my God, I
Musgraves.
love that show.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. It was great. Really fun and
It's definitely like an
knowledgeable.
establishment show.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
the template for like other stuff. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's 20 years old, so.
Yeah.
And I
that's
loved
great.
your episode.
Thank you. Which one did you listen to?
The one about kimchi. You were
Oh,
making
with my
kimchi
grandma?
with your grandma, which was so cute.
Thank you.
Oh, you
I
had
love
Josh Gondelman on too.
Yes, we did.
He's great.
I
Yeah.
love
He's a great
Josh.
guy.
He's the nicest man in New
He's
York.
very nice.
Yeah, like
He
to the
does.
point where I'm like, why
I
are they
don't
so
know
nice?
him, but
Yeah.
I see his tweet. Well, I know who he is.
Yeah.
But like, I see his
very-
tweets all the time, and like I see him on like other people's stuff, and I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, he's great.
He's like like a really, sometimes you see a really cute dog and you're like, that dog would be dead in minutes if it was out in the wild.
Yeah.
But like Josh is a cute dog and he's out in the wild and he seems to be alpha dog somehow. I was like, it makes no
Yeah.
sense because he's such a sweet guy.
Right.
So.
Yeah, he's such a good guy.
That's
But-
great. I mean, you're like climbing up and then you're also a comic. You're like a stand-up comic.
No, I don't do stand. It's so easy not to do stand up sometimes.
Oh, it's so easy.
Because I tried it
And
and then
I
I just
suggest you
I was like,
not.
I should keep doing this, and then I didn't.
No,
Yeah.
I'm an improv comic.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
but like improv and time, like I wasn't on my school team for like 3 years, and then
Yeah.
I stopped.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's amazing. The other
Thanks.
credit you have is you go to Harvard.
I do.
You're
that.
in Harvard now.
I am.
You do an NPR show and you go to college.
I'm tired.
What the fuck? When I was in college, my college job was I was library security at the library, and
You mean security at the library?
yeah, I was security at the school's campus's library. That's how I met my wife.
Oh.
And yeah, it was great.
What?
Yeah,
That's so
I met her. It was like
Was she a book?
Huh? What's that?
Was she a book?
Yeah, she's a book.
Yeah, that's so cute.
She exists in my mind. Okay, it's beautiful. No, we were library security. It was a hilarious job. But you record it out of your dorm room?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, which is insane. But there's a guy below me, on the floor below me, who's like always singing opera, and it's so
That is
annoying.
such a Harvard thing to say.
It
Go ahead.
is.
Oh
He was
my
also
God,
head
with the
boy
aria,
and whatever.
Josh.
It was so much. But like it's weird. Yeah. But my roommate just moved out, so now I have the whole suite to myself, which is nice.
Oh, that's
Oh,
good.
nice.
Yeah, I miss her, but it's nice to have the whole suite.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah, it's crazy. But Harvard people are like always doing crazy shit. So
Is
like,
that what's going on?
Yeah, so it's kind of like no one cares that much.
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it's fine. Yeah.
Right. It does make sense. It's like, of the weird things I've seen in dorms, someone recording an NPR show really wouldn't crack the top 5.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a guy,
Yeah.
and he's like cooking with actual fire, and
Oh, yeah.
or whatever, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's cool. We wanted to talk about this because this is sort of our race news segment.
Mhm.
And it's not really about race, okay? That's a little change we're making for anyone who's watching on the video. Is we used to have a segment called Race News, and now it's just called News because we are Asian, and by definition, it will become Race News because we are Asian. That's just how it works.
Mm-hmm.
That said, this is very Asian because this is about Berkeley. And Berkeley, I went to Berkeley. Jenny, you went to Berkeley.
Yes.
And we are exactly 10 years apart
Yeah.
in graduation. And we're also, then you're 10 years from
Emma.
Emma.
Yeah.
And that makes me sick. But,
I
you know,
know.
here we are. So I wanted to get into this. It's just a little bit, really, as a jumping off point. I saw this article, New York Times, and it says the headline is Berkeley versus Berkeley. And I'll read a little bit. It says, bristling at pressure to make room for escalating numbers of students, longtime Berkeley, the city, Berkeley residents have leveraged state environmental laws to accuse the old University of California campus of essentially polluting neighborhoods by admitting more students than the city can handle. And the case is ongoing, but plaintiffs recently won a court order to freeze the university's enrollment at 2020 levels, potentially forcing more than 2,500 incoming students to defer enrollment, take a semester remote, lose their slot, or consider another campus. So what this is it's Berkeley the city versus Berkeley the university. And Berkeley the town is a very cute Bay Area town.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like got like medium density, so it's kind of got like a very small city feel. Obviously the campus is a very big part of Berkeley, but it's not by any stretch of the imagination like the whole town.
Mm-hmm.
It takes up a big spot of it, but obviously there's a shit ton of fucking students there.
Yeah.
I think when I went, it was something like 18,000, 20,000 undergraduates.
Yeah.
Something like that, right?
18,000?
Thousands
Yes.
of
Oh my
undergraduates.
God.
Thousands of undergraduates. And then grad students, there's probably like 8,000 or to 10,000 more
Yeah.
graduate students. So that's 30,000,
You're really one of
so
a
many
bazillion
That's insane.
people.
students. So And then there's like the actual city itself, which, you know, is a very charming city in a lot of ways, exactly what you think of. Everybody gets around with unicycle. Everybody, Whole Foods is for poor people because they have something called Berkeley Bowl, which is like a ridiculous grocery store, which makes Whole Food look like a Burger King because it is so fancy. It is, I think, I don't know if Berkeley people would like me saying this, but Berkeley people are upper class fancy people. They just dress like a dude who slacklines. That's the thing about Berkeley. But I wanted to get into this because, you know, Jenny and I went to Berkeley, and every time you and I talk about it, we have very sort of mixed, strong feelings.
Yes.
I think about Berkeley, but also just in college in general.
Yeah.
You know, and I wanted to talk, you know, about that experience, you know, and why we were sort of like kind of confused by it. And then I wanted to talk to Emma about what it's like going to the school of schools that everybody's always talking about.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know, Jenny, like, when I say Berkeley, what is your sort of whole thing?
I would say that I have a pretty fraught relationship with my experience at Berkeley. I think, one, it's a huge school, and I mean, obviously, it's a wonderful school, amazing, like education, especially for the cost if you're in state, which is like why a lot of people go.
Yeah.
Comparatively to like other schools.
Mm-hmm.
I will say I struggled a bit because it is so Asian, and I mean that.
It's very Asian.
And I mean that in this, like, I didn't know really about like inter-Asian racism because because like I went to a school where like all the Asians were friends because I was like it wasn't like that Asian, if that makes sense.
Where did you grow up?
I'm from the Bay Area.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
But then I went to this school, and all of a sudden I was like, my first day there, I got asked 3 different times if I'm Korean. Then I was like, oh, no, I'm Japanese, which I've never been asked that so directly. Like, are you Korean?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, no, I'm Japanese. And then, like, the turn, because the people who were asking you are Korean, like, literally one of my very close friends now, she lived across the door from me, and she's like, oh, my grandparents would hate you. And I was like, God, okay, this energy is very new to me. And so I think I just like struggled with finding my place within a very big pool of Asian people. There was like a new version of inter-Asian racism that I'd never had.
Yes.
And so I had to really like figure out what that meant. And I don't think Berkeley is really a conducive place to like maybe explore some things about yourself because it's like very competitive. So like I always had a desire to do comedy, but I never did it in college.
You didn't do so this Theater Rice that was there when I was there. Was that still there when you went?
I think it was.
Okay.
I don't really remember it.
Okay, that's fine.
I did do like clubs where you bring performances onto campus. But I didn't want to audition for anything because I had no experience doing comedy, and then I was so nervous about like just getting up and doing an improv audition.
Sure. Yeah.
And because it's a big school, there's no like, oh, everyone gets in. It's like, no, you have to try out for everything. I interviewed for like every club I did.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And you can get, and I got cut from like, I didn't get into a lot of clubs. And so it was just very competitive.
Like what club? Like what are you talking about?
Like Superb, which is I've gone to the comedy section because they were fledgling and they were like whatever. Comedy wasn't cool at that point, you know. No one was going to see stand-up comedy in 2010.
Yeah.
And so I did that, but I wanted to be in the concerts, which is like you bring bands on.
Yes.
Didn't make it.
Whoa.
Like I went through full interview process. Didn't make
God.
it. Like things like that. Like every like business frat or whatever. Like at the time I was like, I gotta be a person who makes a lot of money. So I was like, I'm gonna be a lawyer. And so like the pre-law frat stuff, you can get cut.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Everything. It's like if you don't, you have to apply, and you have to like compete for a spot.
Yes.
And that includes comedy.
Right.
And I was like, what about if I'm just curious?
Yeah.
Like I'm comedy curious.
You have to interview for that as well.
Yeah.
Actually. Yeah. How curious are you? You know?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So I feel like it was very much like it was a good experience, but because I had to learn how to like survive on my own in that type of like big world where it's competitive. And so I think I came out of it being like, okay, I'm self-sufficient. I can live in the city and be myself. But like the hard part was I didn't really get to explore all these different facets of myself that I think college is the time to do that.
Yeah.
And also just feeling like I'm not Asian enough. I had that feeling constantly at Berkeley.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're never Asian enough because of you're not Korean. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you know, like I feel you there. Emma, I wanted to ask you also, I mean, I know there's a lot of Asian people at Harvard, but like, do you get any sense of that too where, you know, I don't know if this is true, but I feel like when you went to a UC, like a good UC, quote unquote, people there have, they're used to like being the best person, right, at their school or whatever. You know what I'm saying? These are like very high achieving people. I don't know if it's like that with Harvard. What's your sort of sense? And
I mean, everything you're saying like still happens. I mean, because like Harvard, we call it comping. You have to comp for everything, like, especially comedy.
Whoa,
which is crazy,
right?
And like we're trying to make progress and like making that not be it. But I mean, the traditional center of the Harvard comedy scene is the Harvard Lampoon,
Right.
which is like a very evil place.
I've heard.
Yeah. I'm gonna get in trouble for saying that, but it's like
You're the second person to say also like that
the Lampoon is evil.
Also that you will get in trouble because it feels like they have like a lot of power. I don't know exactly.
Was the first person Sierra?
It
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It may have
well,
been.
I went through this whole thing. I mean, this is a whole thing, but I went through the thing last semester where like I was president of my improv team, and then I spoke out against the Lampoon, and then I basically got kicked off my improv team.
What?
and
How?
dethroned.
What?
But it's the president of the Lampoon was on my improv team.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, and he's a sociopath.
Oh my god.
So I don't know how much you can use, but yeah, it's like it's interesting because things are changing a lot. And like Lampoon doesn't matter outside of college.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But a lot of people like me came to Harvard because of the Lampoon.
Sure.
Because I've always wanted to do comedy, and then you get there and you're like, oh fuck, like this is not a good place for women or other people.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And they have so much money, and they have a legal team, and like
What?
there's like sexual assault and like
Oh my God.
all that
I didn't
kind of
know
stuff.
that.
It's like worse than everything you heard.
Holy
But
shit.
like it's interesting because there's really bad people there, and there's like really good people on the Lampoon who are trying really hard to make it a better place. But like there's this mentality of women, I think they're like, okay, I'm gonna go into this place and I'm gonna change shit up, like I'm gonna do better. But then you get there and it's impossible.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
impossible to fight against an institution sometimes.
Yeah.
So like that's a huge part of the comedy thing, and like everyone at Harvard, it was the best at what they did in high school, and you come to college, but you want to keep being the best.
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
argue about.
And that's really hard. And there's not a lot of Asian people in comedy at Harvard, so there's not a community to help you through that kind
Sure.
of
Yeah.
stuff. And I think, I mean, you guys probably felt this, but like being Asian in comedy is like, you're not enough of a minority to like say whatever you want, but you're not white enough to also say whatever you
Yeah.
want. So it's
Oh.
like you're always self-censoring. So it really
Totally.
fucking sucks.
Damn,
Yeah.
that's such a good point. And what you mentioned about, I feel like sometimes going to these like really, prestigious institutions, you feel like, you're not really supposed to explore the, being a creative person or whatever,
Yeah.
right? Like, and I sometimes think that, I wasted my time at Berkeley because if I knew I was gonna fucking be a podcaster, I would have just skipped college. I don't know. I don't need to have a degree to do this. This is stupid. But like, because when you're, I think when I was at Berkeley, it was like very much you're going to be a professional in some way.
100%.
And maybe for you also by
Yeah.
that time I'm going to be in tech or
Yeah.
something, right? It was like these very high powered roles. Makes perfect sense. But if you're like a fucking weirdo like
Yeah.
me, you just don't know what to do.
Yeah.
I remember I interviewed at like I remembered I was like, I need a job right after I graduated. No idea what that meant.
Yes.
And I was like, I need to work in an office and I think I would like to be a manager. Looked up the job, office manager. Didn't realize what office managers do
Yes.
at all.
Yeah.
Now also realize I would be a terrible office manager. I'm not organized. I'm not good at that sort of thing. But I didn't know.
Right.
Because if you didn't go into the 4 or 5 like things you're supposed
Yes.
to do, then you're fucked. You're just like I'm even talking about just like I'm not even talking about like any kind of crazy like stand-up comedy, right? I'm
Yeah.
talking about just like another kind of job, so that was where I got like tripped up because I was like, to your point about not being Asian enough, I was like not a cutthroat, I'm going to be a consultant or
Yeah.
something like that. Didn't even know what that meant. So like
I still
Nobody
barely
does.
do.
Yeah.
nobody does, right? And so yeah, I don't know, when you got out, did you feel like, okay, well, office manager, like me?
Well, yeah, totally. I mean, I didn't even think, especially being from the Bay Area where there isn't really a comedy scene, I really think that maybe if you are in New York or LA as a student, maybe it's different. But being in the Bay Area,
Oh God.
there's no world outside of like tech. And so at that
Yeah.
time when I was in school, I really had my like eyes were set on getting a good job.
Yes.
And so I was like poli-sci pre-law. Like I was
okay.
like, I was
Oh my
going to take
God.
a year off to do the LSATs. Like
You're going to
I
be
just,
a
because
lawyer.
yeah, because I was like, well, there's no future for me to do anything creative because that's not a real thing.
Right.
That's fake. That's
yeah.
not real.
No, that's not real.
So I literally just like I was a Tumblr girl, so and I still
Nice.
exist, and I will never tell anyone what my Tumblr is. But it is so emo, and like at
Yes.
the time when I was graduating, I would write these long
Oh,
posts
I
about
love
like feeling lost.
Yes.
And,
Oh
like, not
my
knowing-
gosh. Okay. Same, but I don't know if you know Live Journal.
Yeah, I
that was my
remember Live
jam.
Journal.
Live Journal. Okay, but I had to say, oh my, keep going.
So
Keep
I'm
going.
like, it's all just like, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. I don't know if I'm going to find a job. Like, why do I have to make this decision now? I'm only 21. Like, all these things, you know, because I felt like I had to be a lawyer
Yes.
because everyone at Berkeley knew what they were doing.
Right.
They're either going to be a software engineer,
Yes.
like a consultant,
Right.
or a lawyer.
Yeah.
Like, it literally was, or a doctor.
That's
Right.
so dark.
It was just
so
that.
dark.
And
Yeah.
so I just thought, well, creativity, that's a thing I can do for fun on my Tumblr.
When
I write my posts.
This was like 2013, right? So it was
Yeah.
like peak Tumblr. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Full
That's
Tumblr
great.
mode.
And so, yeah, for sure, when I left, I like just took a job. It's like whatever
Office
job I
manager,
can get.
Literally, yeah.
Yeah, shooting
Yeah.
out my whatever I can get, 40-hour work week. If I can get it, I'll take it because I felt like I had to.
Yeah.
And it took me like 3-4 more years after that to be like, maybe I should do an improv class finally.
Right. Did you do it? Was there improv at the Bay?
Yeah. So at 25, I started doing improv in San Francisco.
Okay, cool.
And then quickly was like, I love this.
Yeah.
Aw.
And then I was like, I have to go to New York.
I have to go. There's an Asian prom there.
Yeah.
I gotta hit it up, man.
Well, literally, it was just there are Asian people there who do comedy.
Yes.
I went to a UCB show and I saw Asian people on the teams and I was like, oh, I gotta go there.
I really hope that the Asian prom thing, like it like reverberates out into the universe, out into America or
Yeah.
Canada, Australia.
Yeah.
And people are like, there are other Asian people who want to do this, and this becomes like the spot, you know?
Totally.
Because I was thinking about it in the other scenes. I don't even know if in other scenes there's enough Asian people for like a critical mass of this sort of thing. I don't
Yeah.
know. I mean, when you do comedy out in Boston, you feel like also like, still pretty. Like you were kind of talking about it.
Yeah,
but-
I mean, Boston comedy is like college students are like 40-year-old white men being
Yeah.
like, oh,
Yeah.
my mother-in-law, you know? So like, I don't know, which is also college student humor. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I think within the colleges, comedy is trendy now, you know? So like,
I know, it's
very
is it?
cool.
Yeah,
It's
is
very
it?
trendy now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
In 2013, it wasn't.
Yeah.
I can tell you. 'cause I was on
2022, super trendy.
Very, yeah.
Really?
There's like random like comp sci people being like, "What up? Like I want to be a stand up on the side." And
Totally.
like they
Oh,
shouldn't be, but
shit.
like they do it anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's interesting now. So there's a lot of Asian creatives now. So that's
Yo,
cool. But
yeah.
That's
but we should
great.
definitely have an Asian prom in Boston. That'd be really
There
cool.
definitely needs to be
Yeah.
one. I wanted to ask too quickly about you're a real life Gen Z person.
Yes.
And so I wanted to know if we're all canceled. No, I wanted to know if I guess like we had Jen and I had a discussion about there's a vibe shift happening.
Sure.
There's a vibe shift, and you know what's crazy is that I just said that, and you knew exactly what I was talking about. Because if I had asked anyone over 30, they'd be like, wah, you know, that I would have given them a stroke. But you were like, yeah, no problem. And you actually look
Sure.
more comfortable now than ever. So I wanted to get your take because you were sort of saying, yeah, like comedy is trending. I feel in some ways like Asian people are trending, sometimes in a bad way. But like, you know, like,
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
you know, like I feel there's a different movement, even from just 5 years ago, right?
Yeah.
And I wanted to get your take on, you know, do you feel it's a good thing? Because do you feel it's kind of strange? I don't know. You know, I only know it from, you know, when comedy wasn't a thing. I mean, quote unquote wasn't a thing. Wasn't as trendy, let's just say. And same thing with like Asian people. We weren't as cool, right? We didn't have a Marvel movie yet.
Yeah.
And I wanted to see what your take as a
Yeah.
person who's
in terms
like,
of comedy or Asian or both.
both. You
Yeah.
know? Just
I
like what's the
mean-
vibe, you know?
Well, no one cared I was Korean before until like now.
Oh,
you know.
shit.
I mean, I grew up in Northern Virginia, so like,
Sure.
you know, people cared in kind of a bad way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like, I think part of it is like being visible for the first time in my life. Like on Instagram, I have like a blue check next to my name now, which is
Yo,
crazy.
congrats, I saw that
Yeah,
blue
which is
check.
great. It's the
God.
only thing my brother has cared about this whole time. Yeah, my brother is like, "Oh, you have your own NPR show, cool, whatever." And he's like, "Aren't you got a blue check? What? My friends are freaking out," which it's been a really good feeling. But
How old's your brother?
he's 16.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so he's in it. He's like the Gen Zer, which
Right.
is crazy.
Wow, yeah.
So just-
Also at that age, little brothers don't care about you at all.
No, they really don't.
They really don't. You're like
No.
nothing to them.
But he's so sensitive.
What
He
does he care about?
He cares about. He plays jazz piano.
Wow.
What the fuck?
He's a cool little boy. Yeah,
That's
so
very
he cares
cool.
about that. But he's really good. But there's a prodigy in the year below him, so he cares a lot
Oh.
about that.
Oh,
He cares about
wow.
baseball.
Competition.
Yeah. That might be it. And he got recently scorned by a girl, so he cares about that too.
He really got what?
scorned by a girl.
Oh.
But you know about it.
I know, right?
That's actually really great.
He's very communicative. My
That's
mom thinks that
great.
he doesn't, but he is. You know. So
Do you think that's kind of like a, whatever? I don't want to say everything's Gen Z thing, but like, you know what I'm saying? 'Cause
I think it's a Gen Z thing because we're taught to be more communicative.
Yeah.
But I
Oh.
also think it's a little boy with two older sisters thing. You know,
Ah.
because my brother didn't talk till he was like 5 because
Got it.
me and my sister did everything for
Talked
him.
him.
So, but anyway,
Yes. so
vibe
go ahead.
shift.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
vibe
vibe
shift. Yes. Sorry.
Yeah, no one cared I was Korean. Now they really care that I'm Korean.
Oh.
Especially like NPR is great because they really care in a very good way that I'm Korean.
Mhm.
But like it's interesting because like I don't know, like even at school, like no one really cares unless you make it part of your identity.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
I think that's part of the friendship that being Asian is trendy now. I think so because like I don't know, something about like people really like all my Jewish friends really want to be not white because like everyone doesn't want to be white,
Yeah.
you know. So I
Oh.
think whatever makes you not white, not straight, you cling to that in a
Yeah.
way,
Yo.
which can be problematic.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And then comedy is definitely. I mean, I don't have much comparison because I've been in college for like 3 years, but like
Yeah.
the time I've been in college, like comedy's been very trendy.
Yeah.
And like if you do comedy and you do a pre-professional thing, it's like I can get a job, but I'm also funny. And
Yeah,
cool.
Right.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm like, okay,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's weird.
Yeah, I feel that. Do you want to go into do some comedy-ish thing? Or?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so. I mean, I never thought I would do a traditional. I'm like, I wear a lot of like loose fabric. I'm not really made for the office, you know.
Yeah.
So like, I've always wanted to do something creative. I'm also like a fiction writer, so something like that.
Oh, that'd
yeah.
be cool.
That's
Yeah. So like
great.
doing a balance of those two things would be
Yeah.
like awesome. But yeah, it's this weird amount of people who don't want to be comics being in the comedy scene right now. Even though the Harvard comedy scene was like super pre-professional, so that's a weird dynamic.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. So it's going to be like in like 10 years or 5 years, we're going to have like all these really funny lawyers or something. like
Yeah.
Maybe.
I don't know
Yeah.
about
Or just
really
bad.
funny.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
they think they're really
That's
funny.
a strong thing.
Yeah.
I bet there's not much of that in New York, though. Most people who are doing comedy like want to be comics, right?
I would think, yeah. I mean, in improv, there were a couple of people who were just doing it for fun.
Yeah.
Even though we had,
Yeah.
like being on a team was like a lot of work.
Yeah.
But they were like, a lawyer who my friend's a lawyer, full lawyer, corporate
Yeah.
lawyer. His hours are crazy. Still in an improv
Still
team.
love
Damn.
Because he just loved it, but he had no intention of doing it professionally.
People
But most
love
people do it
improv.
professionally.
Love improv.
Oh yeah, it's a cult.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do think it's interesting that comedy's cool now. I mean, it's such
It
a
is
shift.
so
I think it's
interesting.
because Netflix specials started
I
coming
think that
out,
is
So
it.
many.
and like now
Middleditch
people,
and Schwartz was made improv cool
yes,
again.
like it's
Yeah.
just like comedy specials are so much more accessible, and then now everyone's like, well, I can do that.
Yeah.
And Asian comedy is cooler now too because like
Yeah.
Ali Wong and Randall Park and all those
Exactly.
people
Yeah.
like.
They made it cool. They put it
Exactly.
in front of us, and we're
Yeah.
like, oh, we can do it.
And it doesn't
Like
have to be like
100%.
my family doesn't think I'm honorable anymore.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't have to be any of that.
Exactly.
It's great. Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of we were talking about before this earlier, but I blame Pete Davidson for a lot of the problems that
Mhm.
this world faces,
Absolutely.
including
Fair.
comedy being cool. Because before a long time, I used to have this argument with Brian Park
Yeah.
over Feeling Asian that there is no such thing as a cool comedian.
Mm-hmm.
Like legitimately cool, as in like he or she would be on the cover of Vogue, and also is funny.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
legitimately funny. Not talking about like, you know how sometimes hot people like say one kind of cute thing and they're like, oh my god, you know.
Yes. Yes.
Like a legitimately funny man. I was like, well, Pete Davidson's kind of into that space a little, you know. It's like, and yeah, there are like cool comedy people, and I feel uncomfortable about it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I feel I went into this because I'm not cool. I'm a weirdo, and I need to go where weirdos can
Yeah.
be okay.
You can't have both. You
That's
know?
what I
You
feel.
can't be hot and funny.
I think
When I
that
see
all
those
the
people,
time.
I'm going
Come on.
fucking die.
Yeah.
I just hate that.
You cannot have a six pack and have a tight five at the same
Yeah.
time. I agree. Yeah, I mean, this is good. I wanted to do another vibe shift in this podcast.
Wow.
Okay, and just a little one. I hope this is okay to talk about. I wanted to just I have in the outline just generally, but to I guess intro this, Jenny, when we were first setting up, she was sort of saying, "Oh, I'm sorry I'm late, but like the subway is a little tricky right now," and I knew exactly what she was talking about. And I think every New Yorker knows exactly what you were talking about.
Yeah.
Because did you take the subway here?
I didn't.
You didn't. Okay, so like it's a good move because like it's kind of crazy out there right now. Let's just say that. Yesterday there was a stabbing at MoMA, the Museum of Modern Art, and it was at the film desk. The film desk is like a separate sort of. There's like a film theater attached to MoMA, right? And they show all sorts of movies. And fortunately, the two employees who were assaulted are okay, but there was they were assaulted by a museum goer, and there's a video which I would warn you not to watch. It is very intense, and again, it's good that they're okay, but like I was really hits home because my wife used to work at that desk. She used to be one of those people, like one of those museum like people. Ugh. And this is at the beginning of her career, and now she's somewhere else. But it was just like it just kind of made me feel like I've never felt unsafe in New York City ever. Mm-hmm. I've lived here like 10 years and stuff like that. I walk around like 4 a.m, haha. It was almost kind of fun, like there's all sorts of drunk people, weird things happening. And now I'm like, oh, it's the full moon is out. I better get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
So I wanted to talk to you both about that, as Asian people and Asian women, I don't have to tell you sort of the things that have happened in the city, but I wanted to just know, like what's going through your minds and stuff.
Yeah. Well, for me, living in New York, I also have never felt, I've only been here for like 4 years, mm-hmm. but I used to live in San Francisco before this, and I would say that I have felt safer here than in San Francisco.
Sure. San Francisco can be really rough.
Yeah. And I also think that there are more people here, and it also almost feels like everyone around you when you're here will step up and protect you. Is what I used to say. And then I swear this like past couple of months, well, whenever the first Asian prom was on my way to meet up, mm-hmm. For a first kind of like Asian hangout that Dylan Adler organized. So this was like last year, 2021.
October or something. Or September maybe.
It was the first time I got yelled at on a train.
Oh,
shit. Like in a racist way.
Yeah.
And I was like really thrown off. It was just because I was sitting on a seat that I guess a guy wanted. And I was like, I was there from earlier and he didn't like that. And then, like call me Oriental or whatever. And I had like my headphones in so I didn't hear it. And I was just like, wow, this is so crazy. It's happening on my way to hang out with like so many Asians.
Oh my God.
Like really wild for this to be happening. So that was like my first taste of it. And then now the news cycle is like, it's just, there's a lot of assaults happening. Mm-hmm. Like the trains are not great right now. Like, getting yelled at is a normal thing now. And I don't know. It's a very odd time. I now at a certain point, I won't go home alone late unless it's a car.
Yeah.
And I try to go home earlier now.
Yeah.
Like it is definitely like I'm on my toes and like feeling a lot more. I don't know. Like I have to be aware, and it's just it's so sad that the race part is like the part of it now that I'm like, oh, like
I know.
being an Asian person is like
right.
I don't know, makes you a target.
It didn't feel like before that was an element necessarily.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? If there was something that was going to be sketchy that was happening, it was like kind of, like the weather. It was like something like bad was happening, but it was kind of happening to everybody, at once. And now it's like, I feel like, if my wife walks around somewhere, I'm like, okay, you're kind of like a big target. You know what I'm saying? A little bit more than before, even for myself, right? And, I'm always like, I don't want anyone standing behind me during like in the subway, which is like crazy, like I again never thought about that before.
Yeah.
And I mean, Emma, I don't know what the situation is sort of like for you, but like I don't know if you feel this kind of change here.
I think like Christina Park's murder kind of confirmed something for me, because like I don't know why, but like I think after the pandemic I felt like way more, I've never used the words like as a Korean woman as much times as I have before as I do now, because like, and it's like so hard to explain to people why that I feel like afraid sometimes. Like I don't live in New York, but I do live in Boston, and like Boston is like, a scaled down version of New York, but like I still won't go out after midnight, and like if there's someone walking, like the usual problems of being a woman, I feel like are like 5 times as bad now, and I don't know why, and it's scary. Like I don't know why that's happening.
I don't know either, and I was just talking to someone about it. It was, you don't know if you can like connect all the dots of all the different incidents happening. But at the same time, it's like, is it a coincidence? I don't know, you know? Like, I don't think it's a coincidence, right? You know, I don't feel as a Asian man, this is like the stupid thinking of an Asian dude. Like, Asian dudes are like, yeah, I wish somebody would attack me so that I could finally use my Muay Thai skills. You know, like, that's us. Like, oh, dude, I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, man. I'll fuck you. You know what I'm saying? But no, I would probably cry because I'm like that, you know? So, yeah, I don't know what the way out of this is. I don't even know. I think it'll only get worse, to be honest with you, because things globally are kind of scary. You know?
Yeah. One thing I learned, though, my mom made me take a woman's self-defense course
before
I went to college.
Oh, shit.
I'm always drinking water before I go out at night because the number one thing you do, if someone grabs you, you pee on yourself.
No way. Did they teach you that?
Yeah.
What?
That's the lesson?
Where did you take this lesson?
At the bank.
Hey, if you're going online without ExpressVPN, it's sort of like handing your phone over to your girlfriend or boyfriend and saying, go ahead. Go through my DMs. You know, I'm sure it's fine. You know, you're all good boys and girls, but you know what? Why do it? Why? Okay, that's why you need to be using ExpressVPN. Every time you connect to an unencrypted network, wherever it is, your data online isn't secure. Any hacker can come in, start accessing things, start stealing your personal data, passwords, financial details, whatever. ExpressVPN creates a secure, encrypted tunnel, love tunnels, between your device and their internet, and the hackers can't get inside, can't be stealing your data. Just fire up the app, click one button, and you're instantly protected. And ExpressVPN works on all your devices, laptops, phones, tablets, so you can stay secure on the go. Secure your data today at expressvpn.com/Asian and get 3 months free. That's expressvpn.com/Asian. expressvpn.com/Asian. Whoa, what was that? Dang, that's
what
crazy.
is that sound?
It's nice.
It's the sound of another sale on Shopify, the all-in-one commerce platform to start, run, and grow your business. Shopify gives entrepreneurs the resources once reserved for big business, so upstarts, startups, and established businesses alike can sell everywhere, synchronized online and in-person sales, and effortlessly stay informed.
Scaling your business is a journey of endless possibility. I love how Shopify has the tools and resources to make it easy for any business to succeed from down the street to around the globe. Like mine, Shopify powers million businesses from first sale to full scale.
Reach customers online and across social networks with an ever-growing suite of channel integrations and apps, including Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, and more.
Gain insights as you grow with detailed reporting of conversion rates, profit margins, and beyond.
More than a store, Shopify grows with you.
This is Possibility, powered by Shopify.
Go to shopify.com/Asian, all lowercase, for a free 14-day trial and get full access to Shopify's entire suite of features.
Grow your business with Shopify today. Go to shopify.com/Asian right now.
Shopify.com/Asian.
The CFOs that get it, get it. The CFOs that don't. Let's talk about the CFO, the Chief Financial Officer. Today's CFO is critical to the strategy and success of the business. And in growing companies, there are two kinds of CFOs. One who's struggling to keep up, spreadsheets everywhere, manual processes, errors, and a lack of visibility into the numbers. It takes weeks to close the books. The other kind is on top of their game. Automated reports, inventory, e-commerce, and HR flow into the financial model seamlessly. Insights coming with the click of a button. That's why NetSuite is the #1 cloud financial system, used by over 28,000 growing businesses. That's a lot. Like I told you, the CFOs that get it, get it. The CFOs that don't. NetSuite is the #1 cloud financial system to power your growth. Over 28,000 businesses already use NetSuite. Head to netsuite.com/ANA for a special one-of-a-kind financing offer. That's netsuite.com/ANA. netsuite.com/ANA. This month, Paramount Plus, in partnership with CAPE, the Coalition of Asian Pacifics and Entertainment, celebrates Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month with a special collection of series and movies spotlighting the AAPI community, with performances from Yerin Ha, Asif Manvi, Isa Briones, George Takei, Lucy Liu, Liza Lapira, and Keanu Reeves, just to name a few. Head to ParamountPlus.com/WatchUsRise to learn more and stream their performances today.
They taught it in a Navy Federal Reserve.
Federal Reserve
It
Bank.
was me and my friend Grace, and like 30 old woman. And they're like, step 1, ladies, pee on yourself. If you have poop in you, do that too. Step 2, and then they taught us sing, solar plexus. What is I?
Oh,
The
yes.
Miss Congeniality
Yeah.
thing.
Oh, is that
So were
real?
they like-
Yeah. Solar plexus, eyes, nose, and then groin.
Yeah.
So I feel prepared because my bladder is full, my
Full.
elbows are ready.
Wow.
My strong points are their weak points.
Yeah, I
So-
feel. Yeah.
Also, you're just staying hydrated, and
And I'm
that's
staying
good.
hydrated.
hydration.
Yeah.
That's the key
Yeah.
to everything.
Yeah.
You know, go to
Wow.
exfoliator.
Self-defense has been really on my mind.
Oh,
you know,
totally.
Which is crazy.
Yeah?
I get so many self-defense TikToks now.
Oh yeah.
Me too.
Whoa.
And
Where,
teen
like-
pregnancy TikToks, but that's different.
You get what?
Teen pregnancy TikToks.
Oh.
we don't have to talk about that.
Okay.
It's okay.
Also
But
important to
I
be
know,
hydrated
right?
there. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Hydration is just important across the board.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the self-defense TikToks, like I see a lot of like young women showing all of the little gears that they
I
have.
know.
Oh, like what?
There's like one that like makes a ton of noise.
Oh,
The pole
you
that
pull it out?
retracts,
Yeah, like
that's really
The what?
metal.
There's like something that you pull makes like an alert,
loud
alert
noise, right.
and then there's like
There's
a
like a
thing.
you think it's that's a little metal thing, and you go. Whoosh, and
Oh,
it
it's a
goes
baton.
Yeah,
Oh no.
yeah,
Okay, I
yeah,
see.
it is.
Holy crap.
like a little like thing that like shoots something.
Yeah.
Like there's all these little like gears
I've
and
been
gadgets.
seeing this thing, this little metal thing that in case your car falls into a lake, you can puncture. You can open your
Oh,
window.
the window.
yeah,
Yeah,
I've seen that.
I've
I've
seen
seen
that.
a lot of that, but I don't think a man would push my car into a lake. You know?
That would be a
He'd
lot.
pull me out first.
yeah,
know?
I'd have to buy a car first.
Yeah.
Once I have a car, you're fucked.
Yeah.
Whoa. I mean,
Yeah.
damn. See, this is like the gap between stupid men and women because like women are always like thinking about this and like men are just like, oh, I want some chips. You know, that's like that's what goes through my mind is like, oh, I
After
wonder
a
if there's
night out,
any
yeah.
when are we gonna get robot suits we could wear? That's like what goes through my mind and then you're like, oh, I gotta think about defending myself. Like you know, it's crazy about the peeing thing. It sounds like you took a self-defense class at the zoo or something. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, all right,
I
do
was
what
gonna be
squid
like,
do. You
who's
know, like
teaching it.
so
it was fun. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I mean, like, I guess, like, what else do they teach you in these, like, have you taken self-defense classes?
No, I feel like
you
I should.
Yeah?
You should.
But I feel like peeing yourself, I can do that.
I know. Easy.
Easy. I think I got this in the bag, you guys.
Yeah.
No, but I want to.
Yeah, what else did they teach me? I skipped a couple of courses because they were all like named Brenda and
Yeah.
50. I learned that you gotta kick hard because
Okay.
which just sounds easy.
Yeah.
But like a lot of times, like you don't want to hurt someone
Right.
because like maybe they weren't trying to hurt me.
Right.
No, assume worst intent and then like really get at them.
Got it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pee yourself, poo yourself. The basic things.
I don't know where I saw this, but I saw something about how like the skin somewhere in your arm is like really sensitive, like the inner
Really?
skin. So it's like just pinch really hard. It might have been like a Japanese like variety show program as a
Whoa,
kid,
whoa, what?
and I just like internalized
They should do
it.
self-defense for Asian American women.
Yes.
Just specifically that.
Like, because
Whoa,
I'm like
yes.
small, so like
Yeah.
just let me like pinch something
Yeah.
that's like sensitive, you know?
yeah.
I like
Like,
that.
Anyway, yeah.
Oh, you also pretend to be crazy. That's another
I
step.
think
another one.
I
Yeah.
have thought about that. I was like, if anything happens, I'm just gonna scream something and just pee myself and be crazy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's, like,
Start
not
speaking in
worth it.
tongues.
I'm not.
Yeah.
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 That'll be fun for me, honestly.
Yeah.
Invite them to your improv show. Just
Yeah.
like, here you go.
Wait, you're so right.
Yeah, comedy. You know?
It's $25 to see an hour-long montage set. They're like, no, never mind.
No, never mind. You know, can't you just poop yourself again? Oh my gosh! Wow. I mean, geez. Whoa. I'm so sorry. I mean, I feel like I didn't do anything, but maybe I did. I don't know. I'm sorry about that. That's crazy.
Yeah, thanks for the apology.
Also, got to check
Yeah.
out some of these self-defense accoutrements.
Yeah.
That's pretty.
They're
intense.
fun.
They
At
look
a certain
cool.
point, you have a keychain full of like
Yes.
weird like claws and like sticks and lasers. It's pretty dope.
yeah.
That's tight, dude. That's tight. All right. Well, wanted to again thank our guest Emma Choi for being on here, and we're going to wrap up the show with our Asian not Asian game. And the way this game works is we're going to list some things, phenomena from the previous segments and things we were discussing, and talk about if they were Asian or not. Okay? And you got it?
Let's do it.
Cool. Here, let's start with environmental laws. Are those Asian or not?
Not Asian.
Not Asian. I need some. You need to show your
I'm
work.
just thinking that my grandma doesn't know what that is.
Mm.
You know, and I think that's a pretty surefire way to see if things are Asian or not.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I
But-
also think environmental law has a real, like, I don't think anyone who practices environmental law really knows what sundubujiga is.
Okay.
Mm.
Interesting.
What do you think? That's a weird law and logic.
I feel like if you explain an environmental law thing to a Korean grandma or Vietnamese grandma, because they're so into gardening, if you explained it in terms of gardening, they would be like, oh, okay, if you have this environmental law, I can get a bigger persimmon tree, right? Like, then like it starts to make sense.
Yeah.
But like if you don't, then I agree with you.
I think off the top of the
Yeah.
knob.
Off the top.
No, right?
Yeah,
Off
I
the
would
top.
agree with that.
Okay, cool.
Like conceptually, they're probably big fans. Asian people are big fans.
love
Yeah.
But the
environments.
word, no.
The word.
My
The
grandma
word
can't say
itself.
V's, so that's just straight off no.
No V's. Yeah. Okay. How about this? This is interesting. How about NPR? Is NPR Asian or not Asian?
Yeah, I think definitely.
Yeah.
Oh.
Weirdly, right? Because first you're like, no, white.
Yeah.
But all of my relatives know what NPR is.
Word.
Wow.
Yeah, which is really cool. And there's like a lot of Asian people behind the scenes at NPR.
Okay.
So
That rules.
Asian.
I love that.
Yo, I didn't know
Right?
about that's the insider shit right
I
there.
know,
Yeah.
seriously.
Gotta hear.
New Year, NPR throws down. It's
Wow.
great.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. How about this? Getting lit. Getting lit. Is that an Asian thing or not?
Do I answer first?
You
for
can
all
answer.
this?
You can answer, or you can. It doesn't matter.
You can go.
Well, based on your answer, yes. Also, because when we get lit, we can't hide. We can't hide.
Oh,
lit,
yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, based off of my sample size of last Saturday,
Yes.
getting lit is Asian. for
Getting
sure.
lit is very Asian.
And
Oh.
it's me.
Yeah,
the one
it's
getting
just Jenny.
Yeah, it's just
Great.
Jenny. It's just Jenny's face, just
Yeah.
in general.
Asian
Yeah,
glowing.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that a lot. Okay, how about this? Pooping. Just pooping.
Yeah.
This game is going off the rails. Okay, I love it. I love it. I like that. Yeah, I feel. Yeah, what do you think?
Don't you
Jenny?
think? Sorry, I just immediately was like, I feel like my family, or at least like Japanese people, talk about pooping very openly.
Yeah.
It's just a conversation. It's
Yeah.
nothing to be
Us
ashamed
too.
of. So I feel like it is a very Asian thing.
Also, the Korean words for poop are like very like Korean is a very phonetic language.
Mhm.
Like Korean poop is tung, which is like the sound of
Yeah.
hitting the water. Like solsta is diarrhea. You know, so it's like
Oh.
yeah, I say that's Korean or Asian.
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 Yeah.
Okay. I'm learning a lot. Okay, how about this one? Last one. Improv. Is improv Asian or not Asian?
Let's make eye contact.
Yeah.
Jenny,
Yeah,
and
make
think
eye
about
contact
it.
as you guys think about it.
No.
Yeah, yes.
It's one of the least Asian things
I
in
was
the
gonna
world.
say that too. It's the least Asian
Wow,
thing
that
in
is
the
so
world.
fucking funny.
I mean, have your parents ever seen you do improv?
Yeah, they
Well,
don't
would
get
they-
it, but they like
yeah.
it.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
would they conceptually get what's happening?
No, well, I mean, because it's not my parents' instinct to say yes and. You
Yeah,
know, it's like
exactly.
maybe
Yo.
also what you know.
Yeah.
Every time my parents come, they're like, we don't know what just happened or
Yeah.
why this requires skills, but we're glad you're having fun.
Yeah. They're like, Unju, you were the main character in that one. I'm
Yeah.
like, no, like that was a montage.
Yeah.
You were the main character in that one.
Yeah. Like, so did you think of the lines beforehand? I was like, I really don't think you're understanding the concept of
My
this.
most popular comment from my relatives was like, you should write that down.
Yeah.
Wow.
You're like, okay.
That's
I'm
great.
glad you enjoyed, but
Yeah,
that you don't
yeah.
get it. Yeah.
You don't get it.
Improv, short for improvisation. I'm like, yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Who's your parents' favorite comedian? Like American comedian?
Jerry Seinfeld.
Seinfeld?
Wow,
Okay.
okay.
So they'll watch him and be like,
Yeah,
oh yeah.
they
this
lived
is
in New York during the 90s, so they
Oh.
were on that Thursday night
Yo,
primetime slot.
shit.
So they're still vibing down with Jerry Seinfeld.
Okay.
Wow.
so-
A classic.
A classic,
Yeah.
you know, and I'm learning a lot. My boyfriend's Jewish, so I'm learning a lot about his culture right now by watching Seinfeld, and it's a rich culture, you know.
It is a rich culture.
Interesting.
It is a lot. It's a very rich culture.
Yeah.
How about you, Jenny?
My parents love Jimmy Kimmel.
Oh, really?
He's the Asian late night host.
They
Yeah,
love
he
Jimmy
is.
Kimmel.
Whoa.
My dad is like, did you see that episode of Jimmy Kimmel? I'm like, no, I'm not. I don't just stay. My dad stays up late to
Stays
watch
up
it.
watching him.
He
Like
watches it on air.
Air.
Why Jimmy Kimmel versus like any of the other ones?
He just really likes his personality and his style.
Ah.
Yeah.
There's a roundness to him.
Exactly.
That really appeals to the Asians.
Yeah. And it's a little dry, like not like hamming it up almost,
Mm-hmm.
just like, you know, kind of like soft, dry. And then he'll do like fun little segments.
Asians hate Fallon.
I was just about to say my parents
Really?
do not like
And my
Fallon.
parents hate Fallon
Yeah.
for no
Oh.
reason.
Wow, really?
Like we cannot stand that guy.
Yeah.
Huh.
Same. Wow.
Yeah. Maybe,
That's
we have
actually
to,
shocking.
maybe we're just sisters.
Yeah.
Same
What the
parents.
fuck?
Yeah, the shocking thing is our parents are the same people.
Yeah, I love that. I love it. I love it so much. This has been a fun time. I mean, you know, I've been trying to do this thing where make the episodes shorter, but it's not happening because we're having such a fucking good time.
Yay.
It's your fault. Well, I wanted to thank Emma once again for coming on to the show.
Thank you for having me.
And yeah, where can our fans find you and your work?
Well, my show is at Wait Wait NPR, where everyone and their mom every Wednesday is 15 minutes, and I'm at Emma Unju on Instagram.
Oh
But
shit!
yeah.
That's awesome.
Verified, bitches.
Verified.
I
Blue
don't
check.
post. I feel so much pressure to post now, but we'll see.
Wait, so this happened recently?
Wednesday. I know.
What's the
Wow.
process?
Oh, I just told NPR, can I get verified on Instagram? They're like, let's see. And then 2 hours later, like, you're verified. And I was like,
Wow.
"Ugh." But there's so much pressure. 'Cause
No.
I'm like, I don't
God.
know what I'm supposed to post.
You're just
now.
legit now. You can
I'm-
do anything.
I'm like, should I start posting like Reese Witherspoon where I just take selfies and I'm like,
Yeah.
whatever?
Yeah.
But I don't know. But all my high school friends still follow me there. Friends, right?
Friends, yeah.
Yeah, but are they verified?
No. Now they just weight lift, whatever.
Weight lift. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I love it. Jenny, where can our fans find you?
You can find me on any social media at Jenny Orimoto.
Oh, look at that. All right. And you can always find the podcast on Instagram at Asian Not Asian Pod. Check us out. We've got a stand-up show. The next one is, I mean, this timing's all fucked up, but just go and Google, go to asiannotasianpod.com and check. You can find tickets for our stand-up show. It's always a good time. And you can find me personally on Instagram at Nice Pants Bro. Not verified. Okay? It's going to be tight.
Sorry.
Raw. Just raw stuff. I talk about weightlifting quite a bit, actually.
No.
And thank you very much. Until then, until next time. We'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.